Beautiful.
Very good.
All right, as the sun keeps shining here in Manjimup at Chelem, we're looking at these apricots. Now these apricots have grown exceptionally, really, really well. And part of that, and there is a little bit of a problem here, and I want to show you this, they were planted too deep. So if you look down here, there's a graft line or a bud line, and it's below the soil. So ideally, we want that exposed out of the ground. So we might have to just scratch around and get that bud union. Instead there's a swelling. The tree comes down, it swells out. That's where the bud union is. That needs to be a good 2 or 3 inches out of the ground, you know, sort of 5 to 10 centimetres.
Right.
Otherwise the roots will start growing from the top and you'll lose the effect of the rootstock.
Yeah, because it goes
Okay.
stuck with the soil.
That's exactly right. It's called sign rooting and we don't want that. So I don't know if Benji, if you want to show where it's done correctly here. These were planted at the right height and you can see that the union is out of the ground, so that's correct. That's really important. It's a big mistake a lot of home gardeners make, is that they plant them too deep and they end up with a wild tree. So you lose all the characteristics of the rootstock. The rootstock determines the amount of growth, determines the amount of fruit, the quality of the fruit, the size of the fruit. All right, that's why it's on a rootstock.
So good, like 2 to 3 inches out?
Yep.
We'll dig it up.
Yeah, so you just got to scratch around there a few centimetres. But what's happened here, the trees have grown marvellously. So what we're going to do is more of an informal espalier system where it's just going to be fanned along the wire. So you still want to try and keep your lines. So you want to, you know, let's use that as a line going out there. And you can see there is fruiting wood. There should be a lot of fruit on these this year. So here, that can go over there. You just get rid of some of the stronger side shoots off it. Same here, that'll go over there. Maybe get rid of some of the strong side shoots off it. You might have to keep some of the longer ones. Here it's a bit strong. Here's our line here. Which one do we choose? We'll probably choose that one. Just pushing that along. Here's our line here. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of these. So these are growing into the tree. We want to try and open up. So what we're doing is just opening up, getting some sunshine in. Try and just keep a fan along the wire. Just using some string. And that's quite simple. A few more wires the same. And you know, you've got plenty of fruiting buds on here next for the season coming up, hopefully. There's plenty. Apricots are a bit temperamental, and when they're happy, they fruit heavily. When they're not happy, what makes them happy, we don't really know. They're just a bit temperamental. They are site selective, and if everything works out, they're really good for you. So we've got a selection of varieties here. There's 4 varieties, so pollination won't be an issue and can be an issue. We've made sure that's not a problem here. They've all grown strong. They're healthy trees. Let's hope that they put out. Let's have a look at the next one. Once again, a lot of strong growth here. I'm going to get rid of this one coming out into the row. First, we've got this big thing over here. I'm tempted to even cut that all off completely because it's too strong, and not everyone's going to be able to do that. So that opens it up. So now we're flattening it off. Let's get a strong side shoots out the way. Got these nice ones go on the wire like that. They can all go along the wire. We've got this big thing here. You know, do we bring him over? That's what you got to ask yourself. Do we want that one? Probably not. So let's get rid of that one. Maybe bring him up like that. That one can come up. That one can come up. And they can go along the wire too. So we're kind of almost re-establishing the central leader here. You can see it's just a fan. It's just a fan. It's an informal system. These wires need to be a little bit tighter. And as the tree gets bigger, you're going to thin out. Fill the space for now, but in a couple of years' time, you might need to take a few extra branches out, you know. Keep a line, maybe even the big one. But fill the space in the first year. Now this thing's horrible. So and there's a reason for it. We had a breakage. So we're going to re-establish a central leader. I'm going to choose, I don't know, maybe, oh, here we go. You got these proper clips here, that's what you want. Vine ties. These are the ideal. It's about 30 bucks a bag. You get about 500 or 1,000 in a bag. That's what you want to use. That's perfect. So that's how it keeps on the wire. They don't move, or they're not supposed to come off. They just clip on like that, very easy. That's what we use in the orchard. All right, so we've had a break, so you want to come along. Now we've got an infection point. So on a big cut like that, you might want to bring a saw, just clean that up and paint a bit of copper solution on there. The copper is an antifungal, because what can happen is particularly with plums, apricots and stone fruit, they get a bacterial infection. So we want you can get copper solution, copper oxychloride, copper hydroxide, and you just paint that into a bit of paint, or a bit of powder into that paint, mix it in and just seal the wound. Okay, pretty important with stone fruit, so whether you keep those 3 or whether you go back to 1, that's up to you. Okay.
This branch more central.
Doesn't matter. It's kind of, it looks okay where it is. Okay. I'd probably just leave it like that. Maybe keep the 3. You kind of lost it along the way. It's not your fault. It snapped in the wind. You know, these are good. These are going well. Amazing.
Apricot's really aggressive grower.
It can be. This one obviously is. What have we got? Moore Park. Lost its label. This one's a no name. Travat. Okay, so Travat's a good preserver. Not a bad fresh eater. So there are Travat's the first 5. Bolita, that's a nice big one. Moore Park's up there, and I think Newcastle. The Newcastle are small, but they're tasty. Wow, they're tasty. Yeah. Really good. All right, we're going to have a look at the peaches, nectarines.